Hey, welcome to the 9th season of AnimeCons TV. I'm Patrick Delahanty. I can't believe we've been doing this for 8 years and we're going into our 9th year. It's incredible. But you know what I've been doing even longer is the list of the largest anime conventions in North America. I've been doing this list since 2003. And so it's time for another installment as I bring you the largest anime conventions in North America for 2016. Now, before we get to the list, some of the ground rules I'm putting this list together and how the comparisons are done and what's included and what's not. This list refers to the attendance numbers we've been provided by the conventions. They may have listed it on their website, they may have posted it on social media through by an actual staff member, not just by some attendee, or they may have sent it directly to us at animecons.com on our site. But these are numbers provided by the convention. We're not guessing, we're not there at the convention to audit these numbers. This is provided by the convention staff. And we also don't go to Wikipedia and pull numbers off of there. If there's a source cited where they have the official attendance numbers posted maybe on their website or through some official channel, then we can use those. But if there's no source for these numbers, then we're ignoring whatever it says on Wikipedia, because anybody could go in there and put anything. So we're using the most accurate sources we can for these numbers. And there's multiple ways that these conventions will count the numbers. The most common method conventions use to count numbers is called turnstile attendance. And you don't need actual turnstiles, but it kind of simulates that with the numbers by counting people multiple times. If somebody goes to the convention for 3 days, it would count that person 3 times. If somebody goes for 1 day, they only get counted once. So if you've got a 3-day convention and 10,000 people go, and they're there every day, that's an attendance of 30,000. If you've got a 1-day convention and 10,000 people go, that's an attendance of 10,000. And so it's a little more complex than that, because you've got the 1-day badges, so those get counted once. The 3-day badges get counted 3 times. If you've got a 4-day convention, then you might be multiplying some by 4. And so we actually don't use these numbers to compare the conventions, because it's really unfair, especially with differences in the number of days a convention can run. And the people who do use these numbers are hotels and the city with the Convention and Visitors Bureau. They'll refer to these numbers because it tells them we're going to have 30,000 people, but it means they're going to have 10,000 people over 3 days, spending money in restaurants and booking nights in hotels and just spending money in the local economy. So that's why the turnstile numbers matter to the cities and the hotels. But when you're comparing convention to convention, don't ever use turnstile numbers, because they are so misleading and unreliable. I've seen people compare San Diego Comic-Con to New York Comic-Con, and they use different methods of counting. One is turnstile. New York Comic-Con uses turnstile. San Diego Comic-Con does not. So New York Comic-Con went out claiming we're the largest convention. They are not. San Diego Comic-Con's bigger. They just report the numbers differently. But people can manipulate them however they want. So when we report the numbers, we make it clear which method is used to count. So turnstile is the most common, and it's used by a lot of professional events like Photoshop expos and medical conferences. But a lot of anime conventions will use either warm body count or paid attendance numbers. The paid attendees, that's the number of people who went to a convention and actually bought a badge. That's it. You just count the number of badges you sold. That's your paid attendance count. It's pretty simple. The other method is the warm body count. With that, you not only include the paid attendance count, but you add in the number of badges you've given to guests, press, industry, staff, dealers. Anybody with a badge gets counted in that. And that's useful because, you might have a contest winner and they get a free badge, but they should still count, right? And, a press person, they're going to be at a panel, they fill in the seat, count them. and they may go through the dealer room. They can still buy something, and guests are there. Your staff isn't staffing the whole time. A lot of them are probably out enjoying some of the conventions in their convention in their downtime. So count them too. I think that's the most fair method, is to see how many people there to enjoy the convention, to be part of the convention. So a warm body count, it's my personal favorite method, because that's anybody with a convention badge. It doesn't include, hotel security or anybody that works for this facility. It's just people there with a convention badge. So those are the 3 counting methods, and in this list we're pretty much looking at the paid attendance count and the warm body count, or sometimes called total attendance. Now, also our list contains conventions that primarily focus on anime. So you're not going to find San Diego Comic-Con, you're not going to find Emerald City Comic-Con, no Wizard conventions in here. We're looking at just anime conventions, which means they have to have a primary focus on anime. If they have anime in the name, that's a good indication that they're probably an anime convention. If it's some Japanese word, they're probably an anime convention. And so if there's a convention that calls itself multi-genre or pop culture, there's a lot of conventions that try to cater to everybody under the sun. We're not including those. We're focused just on anime, because if we were including everything, there's a lot of cons out there, and I don't know if many of these would actually be on the list. So this is a list of anime conventions for AnimeCons.com. So that also means that any conventions that share attendance with some other non-anime convention, if there's, like, you buy admission to this one, you get free admission to this one, or vice versa, we can't include those because there's no way to tell how many people just attend the anime part. And it's not fair to the other conventions to say, oh, well, these people bought attendance to this, town festival thing, or this sci-fi expo, and they got free admission to this anime convention. How many people went to the sci-fi expo? How many people went to the anime? There's no way to tell where it evens out. It's not fair to include that with the sci-fi in there. And there's no way to tell how big that is. Like, is it a small thing, or is it? So if there's shared attendance between 2 conventions, we gotta get that out too. So that's who's included, how they're included, and how we distinguish between the attendance numbers. There's no educated guesses made here. This is all the data that's been provided. And so, looking at the data, I've actually got a graph, and you can see it if you go to AnimeCons.com. I've got the article up, and I've got a copy of this graph. But we've got Anime Expo up. Spoiler, #1 convention up here, and then everything else is really close together. And there's actually only 2,500 people between the #2 and the #5, or the #6 entry. So you've got 5 conventions and 2,500 people difference. It's pretty much a tie, but all right, let's get into this, and I'll explain as we go along. The largest convention in the United States, in North America, it really shouldn't surprise anybody. It's Anime Expo. They've been the largest convention in North America for 13 straight years. This is their first time with attendance over 100,000. They had an attendance of 100,420 warm bodies. That's up almost 11% over 2015. And, a lot of people say that Anime Expo is the convention they want to check out someday. And a lot of people, if they go to a lot of conventions, they have a goal, I want to see Anime Expo someday. But yet the people who are at Anime Expo complain about the crowds. So on one hand, you've got people that want to go just because it's the largest. On the other hand, you've got people who don't like it because it's the largest. And they've had issues because there's so many people in the lines. But it doesn't show any sign of stopping. As I showed here, they're way up here. Everything else is down here near in the bottom half. So they're significantly larger. They're going to stay larger. And so, yeah, surprises nobody. But moving on to #2, you have a different #2 this year. It is ACON in Dallas. They had a warm body count of 32,639 people. That's up 11% over the previous year. This is pretty consistent growth. They had 11% last year too. ACON is the longest continuously running anime convention in North America. They started back in 1990, and no other currently running convention is older than them. There's some conventions that happened before, but they're not around anymore. They either morphed into something else or they just shut down. So, but they have, this is the first time since we started the list in 2003 that they've broken above the number 3 spot. And so congrats to ACON. Number 3 for the 7th straight year is AnimeCentral near Chicago with 31,469 warm bodies. That's up just a little over 1%. They had an increase of 356 warm bodies over last year. So they had some years where they've had significant growth, but this is their 3rd straight year of growth under 5%. Coming in at number 4, up in the Great White North, is Anime North with 29,973 paid attendees. This is actually down 0.78% over the previous year. That's 237 people, so it's not a huge dip. Let's see, at number 5, we have the convention that used to be considered a lock for the number 2 spot. That's Otakon. Last year, they dropped down to number 5 with the largest attendance decrease we've ever seen by a convention. They seem to be back on track though, because they added 2,236 additional paid attendees for their final year at the Baltimore Convention Center. They had an attendance of 29,113 paid attendees. So that's up 8.32%, so that's pretty good. It's going to be interesting to watch them over the next couple of years because they're moving to DC, so it's about an hour away. And so next year we'll see how many people want to make the trek to DC. And then in 2018 we can look at them again to see how many people returned to DC. And so yeah, the next 2 years will be interesting to watch Otakon. But they are at number 5 for the 2nd straight year. Moving up to the number 6 spot is Anime Week in Atlanta. Obviously in Atlanta. They had an attendance of 28,781 paid attendees. Now, they had, that's a paid attendance count. The year before, they had a warm body count, so I'm not able to give the exact growth rate, but it is a fairly significant growth rate any way you look at it. And this is the highest they've been in the list for a while at number 6. At number 7, we have Anime Matsuri in Houston. They reported 30,215 warm bodies and 28,270 paid attendees. That's up 24.2% over the previous year. Now this is, Anime Matsuri has been seeing some rather significant growth rates. They had 44%, then 30%, then 25%, then now 24%. Last year I said that this can't continue forever. I thought that this year would be the year that they dropped down. I was wrong. They had 24%, which is still significant, but this can't keep up forever. Houston, the market's only so big, and they've got competition from not only other Houston events, but Dallas, Austin, San Antonio. So these numbers have to normalize eventually. Growth rate over 20% can't keep up forever. I'm not sure what it is that's given them this growth rate. They had an additional 5,887 people in 2016. So number 8 on the list is Anime Boston with 26,975 warm bodies. That's actually down 0.64%. So it's not down, sounds like it's a lot, but it's only 175 people, which it's in the margin of error, kind of. there was one. But what's interesting is that this year's Anime Boston turnstile attendance count of 78,661 is higher over 2015's 78,008. And that's more likely to be because the convention sold more 3-day badges and fewer 1-days. So there's people coming for the entire weekend instead of just a day. Now, I think the attendance here was affected because of 2 factors, both relating to convention security. One is the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing was a block away from the convention center. And also in 2015, there was a Pokemon tournament where police seized guns of somebody trying to enter the convention center. Now you may say, 2013, that's a long time ago. 2015, what does that have to do with Anime Boston? Well, because of these 2 events, ever since the Boston Marathon bombing, the convention center has increased security, which led to longer lines. And then after the 2015 event, they've added metal detectors, and that's increased the lines even more. And so a lot of this attendance being fairly stagnant, or the numbers being fairly level and not growing, is probably because of the lines caused by the metal detectors and the increased convention center security. I know Anime Boston is working with the convention center to try to improve things and reduce the waits at checkpoints for 2017. Now also for 2017, Anime Boston's moving off of Easter weekend for that year, and traditionally it's been on Easter, so Sunday attendance is down. And I think this year, because it's not on Easter, you'll see a lot more people going for 3 days. You'll see a lot more people on Sunday, and even those that they have to go away for Easter weekend, this is the year that they'll go back. So I think the attendance will go up again. Pretty safe bet there. Anyway, number 9 on the list is Sakura Con, and they reported on their website, they reported a member attendance of over 23,000 individuals. Now, member attendance I'm taking as paid attendance, and over 23,000, I mean, a million is over 23,000, but I'm going to go with the 23,000 figure. This is obviously a rounded estimate. I reached out to Sakura Con for a more accurate number and to get maybe a warm body count, but I had a warm body count last year, so I can't really compare this and get a rate of increase. But yeah, the 23,000 is lower than the number I had last year. So I think that's just because it's rounded, and maybe they didn't even update that on the site since 2015. So yeah, I don't have more accurate numbers. I reached out to Sakura Con did not hear back, so I'm going with what's on their site. And number 10, with 10% growth and 1,836 additional paid attendees, it's Youmacon with 21,036 paid attendees. That's up 9.56% over 2015. This is their first appearance in the number 10 slot since they were on the list in 2011. And they're closely followed by Otakuthon in Montreal, which they actually reported a number 279 people larger, but theirs was a warm body count. So their warm body count was 21,315 people, up 5.47%. So although their number is higher than Youmacon, it's a warm body count. And Youmacon was paid, so if you figure in Youmacon hit at least 279 staff and press and all that. So Youmacon just squeaks into the number 10, but they're both so close that we had to include them both on the list, and they were both also over 20,000 people. Now, so that's the 11 largest North American anime conventions of 2016. As always, I want to remind everybody, this is not a list of the best conventions. There's a lot of really small conventions out there, and I encourage you to check them out. Try your local conventions, support your local cons. attend them, staff them, enjoy them. This is just the largest convention list. It's not necessarily the best. And if past history is any indication, there's going to be some site out there that copies this list and publishes it as a best AnimeCons list. Don't be fooled. The list was here first. And yeah, definitely check out those smaller cons. And if you want this list in more detail, or if you want to see some of these cool graphs, like this attendance chart, or on a logarithmic scale, I've got that too, then check out our article on AnimeCons.com. And also, if you want to start planning your 2017 conventions, it's 2017. Good time to start doing that. So look ahead, see what's coming up. You can check AnimeCons.com for all the anime conventions around the world. If it's not listed, we don't know about it yet. Not everybody's announced 2017 dates, but if we're missing one, please submit it. You can also check fancons.com if you want to see other conventions beyond anime. Maybe there's a sci-fi convention out there to check out. So check that out and find conventions in your area. We also recently completely redid and relaunched videogamecons.com, furrycons.com, and steampunkcons.com. So if you're interested in one of those interests, one of those focuses, then check out those sites. And it's a nice mobile responsive interface, and I think you'll enjoy it. And if you have an Amazon Echo or Alexa device, we have free flash briefing skills for fancons.com and animecons.com. You can find those on the Amazon.com site. Just search for animecons.com, and you'll see the free flash briefing skills. So you can say, tell your Alexa to let you know what anime conventions are coming up. All you have to do is say, Alexa, play my flash briefing. And I think I just activated somebody's new Alexa. Sorry about that, but hopefully you've subscribed to the animecons.com or fancons.com skill, and it will tell you what conventions are coming up for the next week. So check that out. And if you have any questions about our lists of the largest North American anime conventions of 2016, you can write to us at podcast@animecons.tv, or you can call our voicemail line at 762-ADEQUATE. That's 762-233-7828. We're going to start at some point this year. We moved the feedback episodes to the start of the month. We're going to do a little different this year. Instead of the end of the month, they'll be at the start. I think that's February or March we start doing that. But yeah, we'll have a feedback episode coming up. So send us your feedback, and we'll respond to it in an upcoming feedback episode, and we'd love to hear from you. Also, subscribe. I think there's going to be a lot of people watching this that haven't seen AnimeCons TV before. And we're a weekly podcast. We come out every Monday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and we talk about subjects related to anime conventions. We report on conventions, we do interviews, and talk about cosplay and staffing and all sorts of stuff. So check us out. You can subscribe. Just go to animecons.tv and you can find the subscribe link over on the side, or search for us in iTunes or whatever podcatcher you use. We're also on YouTube, so you can find us on the YouTube channel, hit subscribe, and we want to hit over 1,000 people as quickly as we can in 2017. We're going to hit it in 2017. The question is how fast. So let's see how fast we can do it. And I've babbled long enough. Thanks for watching, and see you next week. I'm reporting from SAC Anime Winter in Sacramento, California, so I'm looking forward to that. And see you then.